Class 12 students. Today we will discuss the topic coagulation of colloids. Firstly, coagulation is the process of settling of colloidal particles. That process is known as coagulation or the precipitation of the sol. When the colloidal particles get settled down in a solution, then that process is known as coagulation. The stability of lyophobic sols is due to the presence of charge on the colloidal particle, as we have already discussed about the charge of colloidal particle, how it is developed. If somehow the charge is removed, the particles will come nearer to each other and to form aggregates or the bigger molecules, so they will get coagulate or they will form PPT and they settle down under the force of gravity. अगर कोलॉइड के पार्टिकल से चार्ज को रिमूव कर दिया जाए तो वो चार्ज रिमूव होने के बाद पार्टिकल्स एक दूसरे के क्लोज आएंगे एंड जैसे ही वो एक दूसरे के क्लोज आते हैं सो दे विल फॉर्म अ एग्रीगेट or a bigger molecule, and after forming a aggregate or a bigger molecule they will get settled down under the force of gravity. So coagulation of a lyophobic sol can be carried out by the following ways. Let's see the ways. First method is by electrophoresis. The colloidal particles move towards a positively charged electrodes, get discharged and precipitated. Now what happens in electrophoresis when we are taking the colloidal sol in a U-tube and the U-tube contains two electrode, one is positively charged electrode and another one is negatively charged electrode, and in this if I have a negatively charged colloid, then on the addition of this negatively charged colloid to this U-tube, this negative charge of the colloid will move towards the positive electrode, and here in the second image you can see the negative part of the colloid will move towards the positive electrode and it will get discharged at that electrode and get precipitated. So by electrophoresis we can coagulate our colloid. The oppositively charged colloid will deposit at the electrodes which is suitable for that and get discharged and precipitated. Second is by mixing two oppositively charged sols. Oppositively charged sols when mixed in almost equal proportion neutralize their charges and get partially or completely precipitated. अगर हमने अपने कोलॉइड में उसके अपोजिट चार्ज का हमने एक दूसरा सोल ऐड कर दिया, दूसरा कोलॉइडल सोल ऐड कर दिया, जिस जिस सोल को हमने प्रेसिपिटेट करना है उस पे हमने अपोजिट चार्ज का कोलॉइडल सोल सपोज हमने उसमें ऐड करा, देन व्हाट विल हैपन, they will get neutralized and the charge will get cancelled, and as the charge will get cancelled they will get settled down and form the precipitate. Example, mixing of hydrated ferric oxide, which is a positive sol, which we have already discussed that ferric hydroxide sol is a positive sol, and as the arsenious sulfide is added to that ferric hydroxide sol and arsenious sulfide is a negative sol, now as we bring them together, then what will happen, positive charge and negative charge both will get neutralized and the precipitate will form. So this type of coagulation is called mutual coagulation. Now the second method of the coagulation is by persistent dialysis. As we know that dialysis process is used for the purification of colloid, in which with a parchment cell or with a parchment bag the impurities can easily be removed by the colloid from the colloid, and on doing the dialysis for a many time or a prolonged dialysis can be takes place, then the impurities or the charge can easily be moved out from the parchment bag, and from here we can get uh, a coagulated form of colloid or a precipitate form of colloid. Now let's see, on a prolonged dialysis, traces of electrolyte present in the sol are removed almost completely and the colloids become unstable and ultimately coagulate. This can be shown by the image. The colloid which are present here after a prolonged dialysis, the charge can be moved into the solution and the colloid will get coagulated. next method is by addition of electrolytes. When excess of an electrolyte is added, the colloidal particles get precipitated. And the reason is that colloids interact with ions carrying the charge opposite to that present on themselves. अगर हम कोई इलेक्ट्रोलाइट ऐड करें कोलॉइड के सॉल्यूशन में, then what will happen? The opposite charge of the electrolyte will get attached with the colloid, and the charge of the colloid will get neutralized by the opposite charge of the electrolyte. So this causes neutralization leading to their coagulation, and as the colloid become chargeless, they will get settled down and they form a coagulation or a precipitate. The ion responsible for the neutralization of charge on the particles is called coagulating ion. A negative ion causes the precipitation of positively charged soul and vice versa. If we have a positively charged soul, if we have a positively charged colloid and we add an electrolyte to that colloid, then the negative part of the electrolyte will get attached to the soul, and the positive soul and the negative electrolyte will neutralize each other. Similarly, if we have a negative colloidal soul and we are adding an electrolyte, then the positive part of the electrolyte will get attached to the negatively charged soul, and the both charge can get neutralized, and after neutralization the coagulation will occur. So the ion which are responsible for the neutralization, that are known as coagulating ions. From here it has been observed that generally the greater the valency of the coagulating ions added, the greater is its power to cause precipitation, and this is known as Hardy-Sulzay rule. According to this rule, in the coagulation of a negative soul, the coagulating power is in the order of Al3 positive should be greater than Ba2 positive, then Na2 positive. If we have a negatively charged soul, then and if we have to add a electrolyte, then this Al3 positive, because its charge is greater, and here we have already discussed that greater the valency of the coagulating ion, greater is the power to cause precipitation. If tendency greater valency of the ion is there, so it will have more power to cause precipitation. So in a negative soul, if we add Al3 positive, then the power of coagulation or the precipitation will be larger. This is Hardy-Sulzay rule. Similarly, in the coagulation of positively charged soul, the coagulating power is in the order of this: larger the valency of the ion, more is the power of precipitation. Coagulation of lyophilic souls. Now, the factors which are responsible for the stability of lyophilic colloids are the charge and the solvation of the colloidal particles. And when these two factors are removed, when the charge and the solvation of the colloidal particles get removed, the lyophilic soul can be coagulated. But we have to know that the stability of lyophilic soul is much larger as compared to lyophobic souls. Now, the charge and the solvation can be done by adding an electrolyte and by adding a suitable solvent. So, when a solvent such as alcohol and acetone are added to lyophilic salts or a hydrophilic salts, the dehydration of dispersed phase occur. As we know that lyophilic salts are in which there is a greater affinity between dispersed phase and dispersion medium, and dispersion medium for lyophilic salt is a liquid part, and a water, we can say it is a water if we are talking about hydrophilic, so the dispersion medium will be a liquid part. So for a liquid contain will be a water, so the water containing salts in which the dispersion medium is water, so the solvent for such type of the salts are added as alcohol and acetone. And alcohol and acetone has a greater tendency to form bond with water. They can form bond with water, they can form hydrogen bond with water, and which is a stronger bond. And as they form bond with water, then the then the dispersion medium will get bonded with the solvent. Now the sol will remain as now the sol will become unstable, so it will get settled down and it will get coagulate. So under this condition, a small quantity of electrolyte can bring about the coagulation. So this is about the coagulation of lyophilic sols. Come to the protection of colloids. How to protect the colloid from the coagulation, from the precipitation? Since lyophilic sols are more stable than lyophobic sols, as we know that because there is a greater affinity between disperse phase and dispersion medium in case of lyophilic sols, so they are more stable than lyophobic sols. Lyophobic sols being less stable can easily be precipitated by the addition of a small amounts of electrolyte. They can be prevented from the coagulation by the previous addition of some stable lyophilic colloids like gelatin, albumin, etc. अगर हमें लायोफोबिक सोल्स को प्रिवेंट करना है कोगुलेशन से, तो हम उनमें कुछ टाइप के लायोफिलिक सोल्स को ऐड कर सकते हैं. And when the lyophilic sol is added to the lyophobic sol, the lyophilic particles form a layer around the lyophobic particles and thus protect the latter from the electrolytes. They will form a layer and they will protect the lyophobic sols from the electrolyte. And lyophilic colloids used for this purpose are called protective colloids. So such type of colloids are known as protective colloids. From here, a term come for the protection of colloid, a term come that is known as gold number. It is the minimum amount of the protective colloid in milligrams required to just prevent the coagulation of a 10 ml of a given gold sol, when 1 ml of a 10% solution of sodium chloride added to it. Now, what is gold number? If we have to protect a gold sol, if we have a gold sol in a test tube and we have to protect this gold sol by the addition of a small amount of NaCl, which is an electrolyte. Now, what will happen to protect this gold sol? I will add a lyophilic sol to this. As I know that gold salts are lyophobic. So to protect this gold salt from the addition of this electrolyte NaCl, sodium chloride, I will add a small quantity of a lyophilic salt, and that will protect this gold salt from the coagulation. So smaller the number of gold, smaller the value of gold number, and the amount of the lyophilic salt added, that amount is known as gold number. So from here, smaller the value of gold number, greater will be the protecting power of the colloid. जितना कम अमाउंट हम गोल्ड नंबर का यूज करेंगे, उतनी ही ज्यादा उस प्रोटेक्टिव कोलॉइड की प्रोटेक्टिंग पावर होगी लायोफोबिक सोल को प्रोटेक्ट करने के लिए. So here are some lyophilic colloids and their gold numbers: gelatin, hemoglobin, egg albumin, starch, dextrine, gum, arabic. So from this table, we can conclude that since gelatin has very less value of gold number among these all lyophilic colloids, so we can conclude that gelatin is the best protective colloid, because smaller the value of gold number, greater will be the protecting power of that colloid. So gelatin will have stronger or the greater power of the protective power of to protect the colloid. Now here some solved questions for you. Question first is, what does reciprocal of gold number indicates? Answer is, reciprocal of gold number is a measure of protective power of a colloid. Smaller the value of gold number, greater will be its protecting power. As we have already discussed the case of gelatin in the table. Question number second, what happens when a hydrated ferric oxide and arsenic sulfide salts are mixed in almost equal proportion? As we have already discussed that hydrated ferric oxide salts are positive salts, whereas the arsenic sulfide salts are negative salts. And as the positive salt and the negative salt gets connected or get come in contact with each other, they will form a coagulation. By since in this case the mutual coagulation takes place and the charge will get neutralized, they will get mutually coagulated and form the precipitate. So that's all for today. We will meet with our next some key points or the some main points of this chapter with our next video. Stay connected. Thank you.